Alright, I guess they're currently in a being abused mode, but with the aunt instead of the uncle. I'm feeling awkward, and there's a reason why. You see you right there. You are a bit different today because my phone, I've flipped it around to the other side. And that's because this side is way more HD. But the issue is this side has no screen. The one I've been using up to this point is the frontward facing, the selfie camera, which doesn't look as good, obviously, because it has to share space with the screen and it can't have a proper lens. So these are much nicer. But these, I can't see myself. And I can't even tell if it's recording, right? It could have shut itself off at some point, and I would have no idea. So I'm just feeling a bit anxious, a bit awkward as compared to normal. But let's get through it. I just wanted to test this out. Honestly, not fast enough. I see. A large sum of money as possible. Wow, that is brutal. That is two mistakes. This should be an as, and then there should be an a there. As large a sum of money as soon as possible. I get why the soon is there, because he has a time limit, you know. He has to be there for Satoko's birthday, but that makes it be there's too many as's. Of course, they've mistakenly cut one out here, right? But then it's like as large a sum of money as soon as possible is just whack. So they should just cut out the as soon, and it should be as large a sum of money as possible. That's much better. Now, maybe the reason this mishap occurred is that they noticed, oh man, that's too many as's in a row, and so they tried to rewrite this part so that it didn't use an as. Now let me think here for a minute, because it's possible that you could do that. They didn't. He wanted a large sum of money. Oh, actually, technically, this is correct. He wanted a large sum of money as soon as possible. Yeah, that works. Maybe I'm just going crazy. But I think that it would normally have been written as large a sum of money as possible. Yes, it would. Oh. I see why I got confused. So normally, if we cut the as soon out, he wanted a large sum of money as possible. That's just incorrect. That doesn't make sense. But when you add the as soon, it actually does become correct. He wanted a large sum of money as soon as possible. So the as possible here, I'm just realizing now, here's the deeper grammatical rule. It requires another as before it. So as soon, as fast, as large, as big, as small. So the more common thing would be he wanted as large a sum of money as possible. But because we had the as soon, we didn't do that. Of course, as soon as possible, ASAP, ASAP, is itself a cliche, a trope, an idiom. But I just think in this case, you normally wouldn't have had the as soon. You'd have this is great. Is this what you want? Of course, all of this is silly nonsense because this is translated, right? I have no idea grammatically, idiomatically, what's going on in the original Japanese. But yeah, I think what happened, why I got confused, is that I literally just skipped over reading as soon, and so when I first read it, I said, because he wanted a large sum of money as possible. But it is in fact correct, I guess. In other words, he chose to mostly do manual labor. He was exhausted every day because he wasn't that physically strong. That's interesting because it is true that, like, if you're doing, non-skilled labor, how do you get it to be high paying? Well, you make it physically exhausting and or dangerous, because then people won't want to do it, so they'll have to pay you more, even though it's something everyone can do. If they refuse to do it, supply is lower, dollar, money go up. Bro, you literally just said he's doing a bunch of manual labor. Oh my lord. I guess it's not bro anymore. It's sis. Oh my lord, sis. Girl, did you just? What did she just say? Girl. I don't know. This line's a bit cringe to me. Probably in real life, someone in this situation would say cringe things. So in a sense, that's appropriate. But I don't know. like, we already know she's relying on Nene to help her. Like, do we need her to state that explicitly herself? I don't know. I guess maybe it's because in the last arc, the whole idea was she was trying to not need help from anyone, and the reason was because earlier she had relied on help from her Nene, and she thought that made him go away. So maybe we need to remind the audience of that, in case they're still thinking she's going to be acting like last time or something, I guess. But that's a bit blunt to me. I think you could do it in a more subtle way. Like, wouldn't it be better if instead of just being like, help me, Nene, we actually saw an instance of her being helped by Nene and appreciating that, or even just getting in a situation and going to find Nene and getting his help? Instead of saying it out into the void, Nene, Nene, help me so. Go fuck yourself. A girl with long hair. Oh. It wouldn't hurt only a little if I do this thing. I read it as it would hurt only a little. I'm like, what? What do you mean? That would be very painful. That makes sense. Rika, for someone with time loop knowledge, this isn't a very elegant plan to stop her. Rika didn't even do anything. It was Rena that stopped her. SMH. Damn. Satoshi's like, bitch, what you even doing in here? This face is funny to me. It's not true that you didn't do anything. You dropped your bento box and started crying. Like you didn't do anything to Mion, but I mean, she was in your area of effects. It wasn't a targeted attack, but she was in your area of effects. I think I'm gonna start using that metaphor like more generally. You didn't do anything to me, but the hideousness of your body was within the area of effect of my eyeballs. And I'm mad now, so I'm gonna call you a fat fuck until you start crying. Bam! Oh, shit. This face is funny to me, and this face is funny to me. This is just funny to me. Yeah. Claws out. Yeah. A little? That was pretty serious. I don't think I've ever lost that much control. I don't think I've seen anyone ever lose that much control. I hope I'm not, like, losing this. I think this is pretty funny reaction. Boom, 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 boom. Whoa. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. Looks like we're still recording. I don't want to pick it up because sometimes when you move the camera in a certain way, it shuts off the thing. This might be a new track, but honestly, there are like so many piano songs like this that I've kind of lost track. It might become more distinctive as it goes on. I don't know. Or just lack the distinctive parts of all the other pianists. That's another reason that when Satoko was crying, it was cringe. It's even more cringe when it's Shion, right? Because Satoko, she's a little baby, she cries all the time, whatever, but like an actual mature adult who like was just talking about how she fakes crying, a few chapters ago, going, that's pathetic. That's embarrassing. Like, you should just type in the thing and then I cried, right? Because even if, you cry spontaneously like this, crying does not sound like, right? It's crying is not a word. So don't put it in the dialogue. Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. Boom. She just thought the Hojo family was getting in the way. Is that the first italics we've seen? I think it is. Feels a bit like a random thing to italicize, but... Oh, is that trying to recall a connection with episode 3 where, just thinking, I wish this person would die, caused them to die? That's the only reason I can think of why that's italicized. So I'm going to assume that's the reason. How does that change things? So it would explain why in arc episode whatever 3, Satoshi was sort of carrying out the will of the curse, right? If he's sort of thinking for Oryu-san, right? Okay, but think about this more, right? So eventually he thinks he wants the whole town to die, and it does. And that's obviously like, I don't think Oryu wants that. Who else dies? Eri dies? And that one random cop dies. I don't know why Eri would die? That doesn't seem right. Okay, so if we assume that, like, when their eyes go like that and whatever, instead of being possessed by Hojo, they're being possessed by Oryu. That makes some sense, I think. Because I was earlier predicting maybe that's Rika-chan possessing them, but I didn't understand why Rika-chan would make them do that. But that makes more sense if it's Oryu. Okay. So let's go with that for now. So Oryu can make people do things, not just because she has a lot of power in the community, but like she literally can make people do things. So now the question is just, why did that get away from her, and then why'd that get away from her, and then she died with the rest of the city? Like, I don't know. The people around her noticed what was bothering her and took steps to get rid of it. Is that the means by which it happens, though? We'll see. How is Satoshi being punished after that happens? Is Oryu controlling his aunt? I don't think so. I mean, he literally has a bunch of jobs with the Sonozaki family that Mion got for him. Like, how, in what way is he being impressed right now? I don't know what we're talking about. You said earlier that an artist helped Ryukishi by like reshading the sprites. Is like this what they looked like before? Because I mean, his shirt is just one block of color, and overall it does look worse than the other ones. So I don't know, maybe. I also feel that way about like Chie, to a lesser extent Coach and Satoshi as well, that like they just don't look refined as the main characters. So maybe like the person didn't bother with them because they were less important or something. I don't know. Okay, this is a new track. Yeah. This one's kind of basic. It's just a, typical wind-up lullaby melody. Music box. Satoka Anderon, Jesus. I just thought of that. Aren't you going to do something about it? Shion-san, you must be joking. We're continuing with that connection, I guess. So I'll just have to do it myself. Okay, so this is just like KG Kane ringing up me on, yo, take Satoko to the festival. I got some other business to attend to. Meaning, I've got to kill some motherfuckers. You couldn't ask Rena or Rika. I mean, just for tomorrow. Watanagashi Festival is only for tomorrow ever. What do you mean? Dude, you're making this so obvious. I feel like I'm talking to Kate Chicken here. Bruh, you didn't have to make it this obvious. Anymore. The other reason why it would make sense if it was Oryu, possessing people, is that she has eyes and ears everywhere, right? She has all the Sonozaki family members that can spy on, or just people hired by them to spy on people to figure out everything going on in town. And so that's how, when Rena goes like, "Pachoo," she can know everything about what Satoshi's been doing or whatnot. Which doesn't make as much sense if it's Rika doing that. Oh wait, no, I forgot. It makes sense if Rika's doing it because she's in the time loop, so she can be everywhere and know everything. But it still makes less sense just because Rika, she doesn't really seem to be trying to do anything weird. She's always just doing what she would normally be doing on the first one or two loops. I mean, but whatever. Which, I mean, I'm not saying is strictly a flaw. Like, a lot of people, if they were in a time loop, would not try anything crazy. They'd just be like, well, I guess I should do what I'm supposed to do. And they just keep doing that, right? But it's like, she's not being, at least in the loops we've seen, I've got to test out something crazy. I've got to be over here instead of over here. I got to slap the teacher across the face just to see what happens. She's not doing nothing like that. I'll leave Satoshi. Wow, so many layers to that. You tip a torn diary from Mr. Satoshi-kun. Achievement unlocked. Plea ignored. Bum, 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 bum. I think we'll do 4 again. Go up to 8. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was a bit weird. Sis, you forgetting it's the most important day. Oh my lord. Okay, well, whatever then. If Ori's the one doing the possessions, then it makes sense in Arc 2, right, where Mion was found at the bottom of the well, but then she came back and killed Satoshi, or tried, and then the Shion was also found dead, and so some people said, well, maybe it's actually Shion that killed Satoshi, and then she went and killed herself. Or you could have possessed Shion to make her do that, and that would make sense. Whereas, obviously, it doesn't make sense for Rika to do that. The only thing that's confusing there, though, is that then he was in the hospital bed, and then Shion appeared again and was like, I've got you. How would that happen? But maybe he didn't see Shion or Mion. Maybe he saw Oyashiro-sama. I'm forgetting now. If he saw Oyashiro-sama, then maybe that makes more sense. But does it make sense? Because Oryu's not controlling Oyashiro-sama, is it? Is she? I don't think so. Well, that implies that Rika is the one possessing people. Ooh. Oh. Wait. No, it doesn't, because Rika's in the time loop. So she would know that the aunt's dying regardless. So, okay. Yeah, whatever. He'd metamorphosed into another person. Are you? Are you you or are you me? Are you me or you? Was it me or you? Wow. Nice. This is just weird to me. Like, isn't she rich as fuck? Like, it's not that much money. It's not like she's giving away a car. So that implies she does know who it is. That she orchestrated it. Let's make sure that we're taking photos. All right, it's looking all good here. Let's do it this way. Can you see me in the reflection? What? Wow, look at my setup here. Wow, that's nice. Completely pulverized. This is brutal. Oh wait. Oh shit. It's not black anymore. You can't see my face at all in the reflection. I guess we have to go back to normal. There's no other choice. Does it though? I don't know. I mean, most murders are done by people very close to the victim. So, I don't know. And imagine you're not close to the victim, right? There are two reasons you might do a murder then. One is to just get money. But this isn't a good way to do that. Why would you attack someone in the middle of nowhere to get money, right? That doesn't make any sense. You'd have to go to their house or something. Or like rob a bank and kill the clerk or something like that. If you're trying to get money. You know, this way you just get a purse. And it's way easier to rob someone without killing them than to rob and kill them, you know. Reason number two, you kill someone you don't know. Well, I guess there's also like you're part of a gang or you're in a military or something like that. But we'll leave aside those options. This ain't America, okay? We don't got shit like that. I guess they've got the Yakuza, which apparently Shion's dad is, you know, a major player. But whatever. Reason number two, that you're a solo killer, right, who has no relationship with the person you're killing, is that you're like a serial killer. You're doing it for kicks. In which case, you might go overly brutal, right? Because the whole thing is you're getting a thrill out of it. So you want to go extreme. You want to push it to the limit. And even, let's say you are in a gang. Actually, gangs often do extreme, way over the top killings, right? If you go to like gore sites, shock sites and stuff, a large category is like gang murders, especially like in Mexico and stuff with the drug cartels. And the reason they're so violent, they're so vicious with it, is that they're sending a message to other gangs or people who aren't in a gang, maybe cops, just private investigators, just people who don't like the gang, whatever. We're serious. We won't just kill you. We will be brutal. We will fuck you up. We will leave you so messed up that no one will be able to give a proper burial for you, etc. We will make it painful. Right? And then also the reason that you find them on shock sites is not only are they leaving the body like that for it to be done, they're recording and then uploading the videos of those absolutely brutal murders. So in my opinion, this is false. This is made up. Bam. 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 You know, bro. Come on. Dude, you're in a small town. The face is smashed, but you know it's a woman. You know, like, roughly her height, her body proportions. You see what clothes she's wearing. It's just, like, not hard to figure out. But whatever. I mean, I guess, you know, we're assuming that's in the text, right? But still. I'm being Oishi-san right now. Like, bro, seriously, bro, don't even lie to me, bro. I see right through you, bro. In fact, you know what I was just talking about with the extremely brutal gang murders, the MS-13 and stuff? That's actually the exact reason why the murders are very brutal in this. Is because we're sending a message. Don't fuck with this town. Don't fuck with Yashiro-sama. Because on the Watanagashi, you will go through the most brutal, extreme murder imaginable. Right? It's the exact same reasoning. So, tisk, 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 tisk. I guess Erie could be lying about that too, right? Even though, in this case, he's actually correct because it was her nephew that did it, you know? And he does hold a grudge against her. But really, it was Oryu who did it. Oh my gosh. They are playing this song for a long ass time. Holy fuck. Oh my lord. Okay. It is done it now. I totally forgot about the whole thing with Keiichi Kun being at the festival at the same time as he committed the murder. I have no idea what's going on with that. That does not fit in with any of my theories at all. That's just whatever. Whatever. New track plan. It's got it's the same sort of piano thing that I'm saying is getting a bit like generic, and I'm struggling to distinguish them, but it's got a whoosh that goes around, which is pretty distinctive. So that's how I know it's a new one. And now a drum beat has kicked in, so. This song again. Boom, 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 boom. Not that this is a bad song or anything, but I've just heard it a bit of a few times, and I didn't even get to hear that last track loop. So why we gotta be playing this song now? You wanted my thoughts, my hot takes on new tracks. So here we go. That was all right. I liked the sparkly going around. I liked the going around. The drum beat was simple, but I liked it. The piano, though, the piano was just killing me. I mean, nothing against piano, but like, oh my gosh, so much piano in this soundtrack. And like, I don't know, I feel like all of it's in the same wispy, mournful, there's like one track of piano that's like got these blocky chords and then and like and some more dissonant intervals thrown in there, and like that one, yeah, it's different, it feels cool, but then there's so much just lightly pleasant noodling piano stuff, and I'm like, no more, no more. like in that last track, there was a part where the piano cut out, right, and it was just the and then the drum beat kicked in, and I was like, oh no, I know what's gonna happen. They're leading up to the epic moment when the piano comes back in, but it's not gonna be epic for me at all because I don't want to hear the piano. I was happy with just the weird extra sound effects. Like, to me, just those alone, that's a better, more distinctive track than if you add the piano back in. But boom, the piano, and it's also weird. It's like okay, we're getting back into the drama of the track moment, because the piano was like so placid, so tranquil in the track. So it's like, adding the drums back in, yeah, that does pick up the energy, but like adding the piano back in, no, not really. That kind of takes the energy down a bit to me. Ooh, ba 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 ba. Stealing is bad. I mean, murder, that can be justified, but stealing, that's a line I am not willing to cross. Those hojos, always sticking up for capitalism. They're down with the dam. They're down with the toy store. That's actually kind of a weird contradiction that, like, our fervent, radical anti-capitalists also own all the stores in town, including this one. It's like, what's going on? What's going on here? That's the true message of the store. All anti-capitalist activism is actually funded by capitalists. It's all a psyop. It's all controlled opposition. Is that how sales people are supposed to operate? Okay. So I'm noticing a very strange contradiction within Satoshi Kun's plan here. He has been working down to the bone, sweat and tears, to buy this teddy bear to cheer up Satoko. But while he's doing that, it means he's leaving Satoko alone with the aunt so that he can't protect her, right? And she can just abuse her as much as she wants. Like, is the teddy bear gonna make up for those hours and hours of abuse that you're just handing her? Like, what the hell? And you know, there's this thing where, like, you know, oh, he's gonna use the money to get the teddy bear, but actually he uses it to leave town, and you know, he was thinking about that subconsciously. But I thought it said that, you know, he was actually gonna do it for real, and then as he went on, he started thinking this other way, right? And because the reason he leaves, right, is because he's being demoned away, you know, by Ori-san. Which, so, did he start doing this, you know, to leave and justified it with the teddy bear? I don't think so. I think it's just a contradiction. I think it's just him not thinking right. Mm-mm. The other thing I feel like, though, is like, how much can a teddy bear realistically cost? Like, is this a $2,000 teddy bear? I mean, I don't know how long he's been working or for how many hours a day or whatever, but like, he's not working for minimum wage. It said that explicitly, that he's going for higher paying jobs. And he's not spending his money on anything else. I don't know. That's an expensive teddy bear. Ooh. That's weird, but okay. So here's the thing. You keep telling me maybe I should be a bit more suspicious of Oishi-san because of his dirty tactics, right? And this is a dirty tactic, you know? He doesn't have a warrant or anything. He can't just be encircling this dude, trapping him. And the bucket water in the face of Keiichi as well. But Keiichi did actually commit the murder. Satoshi did actually commit the murder. Like, he's right in both instances. You know, I mean, like, it's just not dramatically correct to have him be right all the time, you know? Even if he does something morally questionable. I mean, honestly, getting some bucket of water splashed in your face, that's not remotely as bad as, like, being put in prison for decades, which is what would happen to you if you killed someone and got caught, right? Like, if we accept that as morally justified, then having some bucket of water in your face, that's totally fine. That's fucking whatever. That's a drop in the bucket. I mean, it's a drop in the bucket. Whoosh, whoosh. That's just another drop in the bucket. Whoosh. A bewildered? So are we saying that she just learned her lesson from last time and made up the alibi for Keiichi? I don't know if that makes sense because everyone else went along with it. Oh, of course. Or you just possessed them all and gave them all false memory. That makes perfect sense. Of course. Shion just learned robotics and created a robot Keiichi-kin to walk around with her. Duh. Bow, bow. Wow. 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 This is interesting. That's an old track, but they've just remixed it, gave it different sounds. Just like I was saying I might do, right? They've made it more windy instead of just synthetic. I mean, I'm sure that's also a synth sound, but bum bum bum. Bum, 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 bum. Notebook, page 29. Achievement unlocked. Absentee present. You had no. You just gave him an alibi. Notebook 27 was the one that showed up. This is in the thing where you talked about saying that you were Shion. And this is Notebook 29. So what do you mean? What do you mean he had no alibi? What I did was too little. What the? What? What does it mean? This is the one I was talking about earlier. Hopefully I can get to hear the full loop this time. This one's not really loud enough for you to hear it, I don't think, so I'll try to Try to get these over to you when it loops. So did they have a warrant for... Because if they pulled him in for questioning, they must have had a warrant. So I don't know why they didn't get him away from Xi'an immediately.
It's because she needed to explain us to the story.
Yeah, I know. Bum, bum, bum. Dang it, that track didn't loop again. There's something else playing. I think it's just a sound effect though. I don't know. It's just like weird static noises. I guess this probably is a track. This is not just another piano track. Okay. This track is crazy. God damn it. Trek interrupted again. And just to hear this shit, which we've heard a million billion times, like, why the fuck? In my thing, whenever there's a new track, I'm gonna try and make it so you hear it through at least once. Unless, like, the point is that you never hear the whole thing. Like, if it's a diegetic piece of music instead of, you know, a soundtrack piece, obviously it wouldn't be looping in real life. So ideally that would last longer than however long, you know, plays for in the thing. And now we've got more fucking nothing piano music. Play the new track, boo! I think this is one we've heard before, but I don't know. And this is like, you know, earlier you posted to Discord like, man, this track is so amazing. And it was just one of these piano tracks. I was just thinking like, I don't know, I guess it's nice, but like, this is not the track I wanted at this point in the playlist. We have enough of these tracks. And in some sense, maybe it's nice to have redundant ones, just because, you know, if you keep playing the same tracks over and over, it gets annoying. But they're still playing the same tracks over and over, so like, whatever. What the fuck over, man? Dun dun dun. And then in the next one, she's brought into the torture chamber because she loves Keiichi. Okay. Or I guess in the past, in the past one, but in the future to when this is happening in the timeline. Except this is later in the timeline because of time loops. Except. I still don't know what any of this is about because we haven't seen the Sonozakis oppress Satoshi in any way. Like, There's no way. I don't believe it. No one could do this. You could cut off your finger. I believe that. There's no way you could tear off your fingernail. It's not possible. Because the thing is, like, cutting something off, you can chip away at it, or you could, like, really whack it really hard. But with a fingernail, it's, like, in between that. Like, you can't really chip away at it, but it's not, like, a single yank either. It's, like, and I just don't believe it. And, like, whatever.
Whatever.
Dot, 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 exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Okay, is that track again, or is this a sound effect that happened to lead into that track? And it will lead into something else this time. The weird thing is the crickets are going again. I don't know what that's up about. Okay, it is that track again. Yeah, man, this is an incredibly weird track. Like, that's such a weird way to start something off. And then what it goes into isn't very related to it. And it's also weird in its own separate ways. And then there's going to be another section after that, after this, which is also weird. This is just a crazy track, man. Like, I don't really like it, I think, that much. But, like, compared to, like, the generic piano noodling, it's like, whoa. Whoa! I feel like the game in general has a very broad musical palette. You know, like, there are poppy things, there are more classically structured things, and there's, like, you know, old style classical, more modernist. This is, like, got more of a poppy structure, but, you know, using 20th century and avant-garde techniques. You know, there's stuff with Middle Eastern influence. I mean, it's just all over the place, which is really interesting. And which is another reason, like, I'm not digging the whole piano stuff. It's like, the soundtrack is so diverse that there's, like, no added aesthetic cohesion to having a lot of piano tracks. Because there are a bunch of other tracks that have nothing to do with it. And now there's, like, a cell phone ringing in this. Like, what? This is a crazy weird track. This is just totally something else. And now it's just harsh noise wall. It's not that harsh, but it is noise wall. I mean, this is just crazy track. This is like... This is like some Residence shit or something. I'm sure you have no association with that. Maybe I'll link you to the album after this. Maybe I'll link it to you right now. And then you can learn what I was talking about afterwards. That's funny. YouTube. Meet the Residents. Damn, this track is long too. 2012, not even in HD. Fuck that. I'll just send you the playlist. And if you don't listen to the whole thing, well, that's your problem. That's your fault. Damn. They're going all in with the noise. And now we've got a noise outro, which brings us back to the sound effects that we're playing at the beginning. Damn, that is a crazy ass fucking track. Holy shit. Let's turn that down because it's kind of loud and I want you to be able to hear me. Damn, that's a crazy ass track. I mean, that's not exactly like enjoyable listening, and even as an experiment, I don't think it quite works, you know? Like, I wouldn't actually put it up there with, you know, The Residents or Faust or whatever. But damn, that's interesting. Like, that's just a crazy thing to have. have in a game that's, it's not about music. There's just music that's in there. Like, because this is normally the type of thing that would be in, an album by a serious artist, just like trying to do original and unique things. But it's just a part of the game. Like, that's crazy. That's so interesting. I mean, yeah, the music as a whole in this game is really interesting, even when I don't really like it, because it's so not what game soundtracks normally are. And this, I think, is like the ultimate peak expression of that so far, right? Like, even the crickets at first, that's interesting because I thought the crickets were just there as like, oh, sometimes there are cricket soundtracks in this, and sometimes, he plays the cricket background music and the cricket backgrounds and the music at the same time, and that's what's happening here. But no, those crickets are part of the music. And it may even be the same exact cricket sound that is normally in the game, right? It may be that the musical artist chose that specific cricket sound to trick me like that, right? Which is super fascinating, especially because, I was talking about the sound effects at the beginning and the end. They're kind of not that connected to the track. It almost just hard cuts into the rest of the track, and you don't really get that much of a sense of it being in there, but it's super interesting if you think about it as tricking me, and that adds like a reason that it's here in this game instead of just being in some dude's album like I was talking about. This is like one of the reasons why I got sort of interested in doing this as a visual novel, or doing Mystery Cooperative as a visual novel, is just that idea of like, a lot of these soundtracks, they're not music made for a game. It's like music that just happens to be in a game, right? And the reason is, unlike normal game music, it's not even attempting to like fit naturally into the play session, right? Which is one of the reasons why the music always hard cuts instead of naturally. I'm assuming that you're reading and talking about the music in Higu Ch or discussing what sort of music you plan on Simulate in Mystery Cooperative. Wow. He figured it out. Nice one. Smooth one. Smooth as fuck, bro. Mr. Cynical, ultimate detective. Clearly he should be playing this game and trying to figure it out. Here's my question to you. Did anyone figure out any of this shit when they were actually playing the games? Because, like, as far as I can tell, this is impossible to figure out. I don't know, maybe when they do the reveal, I'll be like, oh my god, all the clues were there. I doubt it. Just how I'm seeing this so far, I doubt it. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying, the music's hard cut, there's a stop, and then they start again, and that makes it so like it's its own music track. It's not perfectly looping for the game. And I was talking about, in mine, I generally prefer to have it perfectly loop, just so that way it doesn't feel like, oh, now we're stopping, now we're going in. But the other thing is, I am inspired by that idea of like, we didn't just make a loop so that it would fit in with whatever the player is doing. We made an actual track and it just happens to be playing over it, right? But it's its own independent musical object which happens to be inserted into this thing. It's not made for it. And that was one of the things that I sort of went with the track I made you, right? Even though it loops, right, and it goes in correctly, I did put in that C section, right, which tells you this is the end of the track, and the looping section is just more sort of ambient looping, It's not a particularly musical thing. And the reason I did that was I wanted to have a perfect audio loop, right? So it would be like it cuts out, there's a bit of silence, and then it comes back in. But I still liked that idea of, oh, this is an independent musical piece. It's not just made for the game. And so there's a distinct ending to the piece and a distinct beginning. So I tried to combine those two things. Yeah, those are just some interesting thoughts. I'm gonna check that we're still recording. We are. But we are on low battery and I should plug this in. So I think I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna have to stop recording for just a bit. And now, because I need this to sync up again, we're gonna stay on this view. And oh, look at how pa-ching, this allows me to sync up. This is another noodly piano track that I can't tell if I've heard before or not. Ooh. Hong Kong Clown World. Hong Kong. Just as she was talking about being a cuckold too. Damn. Bum 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 bum. Oh, now he doesn't stop someone because he doesn't have a warrant. Oh. I guess he didn't have 3 other people to back him up. Mhm. Or, more obviously, and more sensically, and more tying into the rest of the story, the store is owned by the Sonozakis, so they could lie about him actually having bought the teddy bear and thus make a more confusing situation for the cops that they don't like hiding their tracks. Bruh, bruh. Bum bum bum. interesting to invert the colors on this screen. Whew. Whew, I'm feeling a chewy. Didn't display these earlier. Doritos, spicy sweet chili, purple bag. My favorite Doritos flavor. That's just a theory, a game theory. That's what I've been doing this whole time. Game theorizing. New track. That is a sound. Wow. That is resonant, deep, powerful. Holy fuck. Oh, shit. This song is crazy too. Holy fuck. Oops. Damn, that is crazy. Okay. I have no idea if these frequencies will even get to you through being recorded like that. But that is some fucking crazy shit. Holy fuck. This song, I like. Because I like crazy electronic sounds. Furtively? The hell does furtive mean? The furtive pygmy. Attempting to avoid notice or attention. Typically because of guilt or belief that discovery would lead to trouble. Secretive. She suggested murdering him secretly. Oh, I need to check that this didn't stop recording or whatever. All right. Looking good. And back to the piano. Okay. I can't be like this every time this happens. Obviously, there has to be some times where it's appropriate to use a piano track like this. But I'm building up bitch eating cracker syndrome to the piano music. Look at me. Right here. I'm a bitch eating a cracker. Almost. So this suggests that Oryu is not possessing people, because if she was, then she could just make him leave. She wouldn't have to use this scheme to get him to leave. Though, there's no way this scheme would work. This doesn't make any sense. Like, if he was sad that he's going to make Satoko sad by not having the bear, running away obviously is going to make her more sad. And like, you could just buy something else from the toy store. You don't need to have that teddy bear. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So maybe we can just assume that Shion is just making up some bullshit and that's not really what happened. But I don't know. The way this is framed, to me, makes me think this is what we're actually supposed to believe what happened. I don't know. In which case, I guess Ori's not possessing people. I don't know. I don't know. I choose to reject this information. That's my opinion. This is fan fiction, Shion. Stop talking about this. You just made that up. Sources, I made it up. New tips, son. Achievement unlocked. Train to nowhere. Be careful, Shion. You might get an obstruction of justice charge if you reveal that Satoshi's alibi you made for him was fake. Do they have obstruction of justice charges in Japan? What are they called there? It's plausible that they literally just have, obstruction of justice in Japanese, in Nihonji. Just because countries copy each other's laws, so why not just copy? Can I copy your homework? Sure. Just make sure to change it so it's not obvious. 42. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. XD. Oh my god. The head of the Furude family. Drives me nuts that the fucking names are in the wrong order. Fuck. God. Kills me. Hojo Sotoko, damn it. In what way was Satoshi-kun punished until just now? Fuck. Oh my lord. What the hell? Okay, I'm taking off the headphones because it's bullshit piano music, but I have something to say. Boom. Get fucked. So, let's check what this is. Yep, all good. I'm such a bitch. Okay. So the thing So one of the most interesting comments I ever heard about video games was that Kojima Hideo. See, I did it right. Fuck you. His name is not Hideo Kojima. Even that, I did it more right because I did Hideo when everyone says Hideo, right? No, it's Hideo. They usually do. Yeah, but whatever. What Kojima Hideo said about video games was they were not art. Rather, they were museum galleries, right? And what he meant by that is, you know, unlike a movie, right, where you watch it play out, or a book where it's, you know, it's just all words in one order, right? There's no proper order to a video game, right? You go do this thing, you go do that thing, you know, sometimes it's more linear, sometimes it's less linear. Even when it is very linear, often, you know, you'll be doing a gameplay segment and then there'll be a cutscene, which is like a totally different thing. You know, and so the idea is, since there's no perfect aesthetic unity, there's no one true version of the video game, you know, instead of being in artworks, rather they're containers for lots of different artworks. So the cutscene is a piece of film art. And then the music track that's playing as you're playing, that's a piece of music art. And then the models, these are pieces of, you know, digital sculptural art. And so you can take this idea further and in different directions if you really believe that. And that's something that, you know, Kojima Hideo does, right? He puts in, you know, really super long cutscenes. Why? Because this video game is not, you know, the artwork of being a video game. It is a container for artworks, right? And so some of that's going to be gameplay, but some of it's also going to be cutscenes. And let's make those cutscenes, you know, actual art. Let's make them like a full movie in and of themselves, instead of just a little vestigial thing that we attach to the video game, right? And instead of just video game music, we'll have a song play at this part, right? You know? And so that's one of the interesting things, you know, if we think about these songs, right, and them all being very different from each other, and them having distinct start and stop points instead of perfectly looping, is it plays more into that museum gallery approach than it does into the, you know, traditional game as art piece approach, right? We are showing off, we are displaying all these musical tracks, which are in some ways related to the game, but they're not perfectly coherent to the game, right? They're their own thing, which is being displayed inside of them. That's the real reason why it's a game, right? It's not that there's a mystery, it's that it's a museum gallery, obviously. And so that's another reason why, you know, sort of, to me, it's interesting, like, if I were to do Mystery Cooperative and have these branches, which are totally different from each other, is I'm playing into that museum aspect, right, of a video game. Because there's no totally perfect, unified experience that everyone gets, right? So instead of trying to do that, you can have very different experiences, right, that are just interesting when put up next to each other. Just like, you know, in a museum, if you put, you know, two paintings next to each other, they're interesting on their own, and they're also interesting in, you know, them being next to each other. Like, how did these two paintings look next to each other versus those two paintings? You know? Obviously this game doesn't go that far, right? It's just one basic narrative, and there are these tips things off to the side, but those play the same. I mentioned Kentucky Route Zero, or Route Zero, to you earlier, and said that it was the most complex, visual novel in terms of all the different aspects it combines and how they fit together and whatnot. And in one way, I would say that indeed does give it more of a museum quality, right? So in that game, right, it is, one narrative. There's no arcs or routes or whatever. You don't choose a girl. But there is boatloads of optional content, right? Like insane amounts. And even within that content, there's lots of choices you make, right? Which don't change the outcome of the story, but which will get you slightly different dialogue and content, just on the way. Furthermore, there's a huge variety of styles in which the game is presented, different kinds of camera angles, different ways of controlling the character, especially, I didn't play this far, but I've seen videos of late game content, and some crazy stuff happens, right? The soundtrack, actually, unlike this one, is very connected and integrated with the game, and it loops perfectly, and it's of a very consistent style, etc. So the soundtrack is less like that. But there is one song from the game, which I quite like, which, let me see if I can find it right now. Just to, right, Kentucky, YouTube, song, Kentucky, Route Zero. Right, so there's this song from it, Too Late to Love You, which I think is really cool, and I really like, which is a bit more disconnected. It's its own thing, which is plopped into this, into this museum art gallery. Other thing about it, there are interlude chapters in the game, which are literally set in museum galleries, in which you can go up to the different displays in the museum and read about the art piece, right? So takes it literally, and if you think about, Kojima Hideo's games, right? In Death Stranding, there's your little pod with your guy in it, and then you can drink Monster Energy or go to the bathroom. These are all walking up to the different museum display pieces. This has nothing to do with the rest of the game. It's just oh, let's see what I can do in my little pod here. So yeah, anyways, that's interesting. Just some food for thought there. Okay, one more chapter. Wait a second. All good here. Ooh, skipped a thing. They're just gonna keep playing this audio cue. Okay. That's just so weird. I don't get that. Okay, that's enough of that. That's why I got confused when I was saying. I was saying that people called him Hideo Kojima. No, they call him Hideo Kojima. They get the A correct. It's the I that they get, or the E that they get incorrect. It's Hideo, not Hideo. And definitely not Hideo. No one says that. Okay. Yeah. Hideo Kojima. No, it's Kojima Hideo. Okay. Woo! Going to the library, huh? Good place to talk secretly. Yes, we know this. Oh my God. You do not need to tell us this again. Oh my Lord. Oh my good God. Oh my God. Okay, so she did say one interesting thing, which is, why would Oyashiro-sama be killing the villagers rather than the people in charge of the dam project? Good point. Good question. I can't explain why Oryu would do that either. I mean, they kidnapped the minister's, the guy in charge of it's son at one point, right? So why not just kill him? I don't get it. You know, this is kind of weird because she's saying that, like, what if he wasn't disappeared away because I fell in love with him? What if it was the plan to do it all along? But, like, that's what we've known for all the arcs leading up to this, right? So, like, the whole rest of this stuff has been like a red herring, except we already know that, yeah, he was demoned away. Like, we already know that there's already 2 victims each time. One who gets killed, one who gets demoned away. So he had to be demoned away no matter what. And it doesn't have anything to do with someone falling in love or whatever. I don't get it. It's just like, if you were, like, more careful about planning this out and wanted to be more interesting, what you would do is you'd write the earlier segments in such a way that you thought one thing was happening, and then when it came to this, you realized, oh no, there was this whole other layer. But instead you come to this and it's like, oh, there's this whole other layer, but also it didn't matter. What you already believed was correct. Like, I mean, okay. It's not like a huge problem. It's not like a plot hole or objectively wrong or whatever. It's just like makes it a bit redundant. Ooh, best girl. The intelligent looking woman. That's so true. Oh, I just remembered there was another thing I was wondering about was, whether earlier in this it was explaining, why it was that Mion was never around and always had to leave before Keiichi and Shion met up. We've just learned that is definitely not what is happening. That is totally false because Shion has now explicitly been told, don't ever get yourself mixed up with Mion, right? So that's the exact opposite of what should be happening. Furthermore, now random people like Takano are knowing, oh, there is a twin. So that doesn't explain why Rena has no idea that Mion has a twin either. Though to be fair, Takano is like investigative and super interested in all the mysteries of Hinamizawa. So it would make sense that she would know something like this, even if, it wasn't spread so far and wide that everyone knew they had twins. But still, it seems like they want to make it pretty clear that Mion and Shion are two different people. So they plausibly, it would make sense for them to actually just advertise that fact around the town. But whatever, it's fine. I'm Takano Mio. You can call me Mio. Shion Chen. So yeah, so again, it's like, we didn't learn anything about what was going on in that chapter from this, right? It was just as I thought, that it was just a total coincidence that, Mion always had to be somewhere else while Keiichi was seeing Shion, right? We didn't get a new explanation that recontextualizes everything. Now, we did get one recontextualization, which is that Shion fell in love with Keiichi and fell in love with Satoshi, and probably the reason she's in love with Keiichi is because Keiichi reminds her of Satoshi. But even that, it's not a great recontextualization because it's redundant. It's just another instance of her falling in love, and it's another instance of someone being reminded of Satoshi by Keiichi, because that's what was going on in the third arc. Though I guess it does sort of recontextualize it in the sense that you could imagine, it's just because, Keiichi is the only older male figure in Satoko's life that's around the same age of her brother, and that's why, Keiichi reminds her of Satoko. Right? But now, it's not just that. It's that actually, no, he really is really like Satoshi. Right? So you do learn a bit more that way. But whatever. That's the same thing with, why I was kind of annoyed in the last arc when it was revealed that the main character we were playing wasn't Oishi-san, it was some other cop. It's like, you had an opportunity there to recontextualize Oishi-san, right, and his character. We're learning when he first got involved in Hinamizawa and why he's so fascinated by this case and looks harder into it than than anyone else. But actually, we didn't learn any of that because it was just some other guy, right? Which is fine, right? We still get to learn about that character, but it would mean a lot more if it was, a character that we already had known and we got a whole extra layer into him, right? Because then we're not just learning it for the sake of that chapter. We're also having our perspective on the older chapters updated. It's fine. It's fine. one reason it does make sense to recontextualize Shion is liking Keiichi because of whatever, because of I am going dang stupid. Okay. One reason it makes sense to recontextualize Shion as liking Keiichi because earlier she liked Satoshi and Keiichi reminds her of Satoshi is that we're given more of a reason why she likes Satoshi and why she likes Keiichi, right? Because Satoshi stands up for her and gives her head pats, right? And that makes her like him. When she meets Keiichi, though, she actually stands up for Keiichi, right? So she helps him first, and then later Keiichi helps her. So she has more reason to like Satoshi than Keiichi, right? Eventually, maybe later, she likes Keiichi for legitimate reasons, because he does go on to protect her and buy her a doll, etc., etc. But you know, in the original, Satoshi initiated. He made the first move, so to speak, even if he didn't ask her out, right? He protected her, but then in the later one, she protected him. But you get what I'm saying now. Fuck, I dropped the shit on the floor. Oh, fuck. Broken, too. And there's crumb as well. See, look at the crumb. Wow. Well, I'm not eating that. My floor is dirty. These little gloves are from the cafeteria. Because of COVID, you know, they like you to wear gloves while you're getting food from the buffet. I take them home because I like to grab the cookies they have there, wrap them up, put this in my pocket, bring them home with me. So I've got a bunch of gloves here with me. Woo! 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 That's not even all of them. Jesus Christ. I need to throw some shit away. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll totally get around to that. Oh my gosh. Why are we hearing about this again? Oh my god. She's giving the puppy dog eyes. She's putting on an act, I guess. I felt like I turned into a completely different person, and she's singing like this, which we have associated with being possessed before. Suspicious. I felt my eyeballs reddening. Woo, going woo. Uh-oh. Oh my god. Oh. Dun 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 dun. Eh? Literally a few chapters ago, you just said that you and her were good enough to shed crocodile tears, and now you're saying she can't shed crocodile tears. What are you... New tips. New tips, new tips, new tips. Achievement unlocked. Payment. Ooh, ho, 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 ho. So is the idea that she's going to forget Satoshi when she meets Keiichi, another person she can fall in love with, but at the same time it makes her remember Satoshi because Keiichi's just like Satoshi. Oh my gosh. So much conflict, so much blah blah blah. Okay then, we are going to stop there. Let's see, any new theorizing to do? Okay, so there was one thing that, what's her name? Takano said that was a new theory, I guess. It wasn't new information, because it's just her speculation, but it's a theory that I hadn't come up with before, and I hadn't heard any of the other characters say before, which was that the people who die are killed by Oyashiro, and the people who are demoned away are killed by Oyashiro's followers to calm Oyashiro. I was gonna say I didn't believe that because it just seemed a bit random and nonsense, but there is some evidence to it. So there is, like, people haven't directly said this before, but there has been some stuff about, you know, the people being demoned away being the ones who get eaten by the cannibals, right? So that fits that theory. And I just realized something else. So the last year, the person who's demoned away is Takano. But the twist is, Takano is found, right? She's not successfully demoned away. They don't get to eat her. She's not put in the swamp. She is found by the cops. This means that if Oyashiro-sama, you know, killed Tomitake, and then they killed Takano, they failed to do it properly. They did not actually demon away her. And so, if they are correct to be demoning away people to quell and satisfy Oishiro-sama's anger, then they fail to do it properly. And that is why people keep dying from Oishiro-sama, and then eventually the whole town explodes. They failed to keep up with the bargain. So that makes sense. And that could be where we're going with this. I need to think about the consequences of this. So the obvious question is, why now, right? Why is Oishiro-sama getting mad and sacrificing a bunch of people after the dam project happens and not any year before that, right? I mean, sure, there's reasons the dam project would make Oishiro-sama mad, but like, has nothing before that in the history of Hinamizawa made him mad? Why is he mad so long after the dam project has been shut down? Why doesn't he want sacrifices just in general, even if he's not mad? I don't really understand. I can't explain. Doesn't make sense to me. What else? Okay, so another question is, what about in chapter 3 when we go kill, you know, what's his face? The dude, the uncle. When Keiichi goes kills him. How does that fit in? I don't get it. And is he a demon or is he Oishiro? Because this latest part implies he's a demon. Because bitch whatever is like, oh no, a demon's overtaking me. But Keiichi doesn't have demon blood in him, right? Because he's not from Hinamizawa. Unless secretly his mom or father is from Hinamizawa, and that's why they got a new home in Hinamizawa, right? But they just didn't tell their son about that. What else? Right, so why does Oishiro kill everyone if he's mad? Like, why doesn't he just, I don't know, kill some people? Why does he ruin his whole thing? Right? Like, you got so mad that people screwed up the sacrifice that they gave an earnest try to, that you kill everyone? That's kind of messed up, I think. Okay. Here's a theory that explains why Rika's a part of it. Rika talks to Oishiro. She's the priestess, right? It's Rika's job in the time loop, right? She's in the time loop because Oishiro-sama, you know, can give her memories and whatnot. Oishiro-sama is sending her back so that she will make sure that the sacrifice goes as planned, right? So that she'll do whatever it takes to make sure that the cops won't find Takano-san's body. So he kills the whole town and whatever because he's mad. But then because he still wants to have a town, he resets the timeline. And he's using Rika to fix this issue. And Rika is the one he must do it through because she's the only one as part of the Furudes, you know, that can talk to Oyashiro-sama. His problem, though, is Rika is not in favor of the killings, right? And neither was her father, apparently. And there's no one else in the Furude line, right? That's why that's the plot point, is because that way he has to go through Rika. He can't find someone else who's more willing to do his bidding. That's the other reason why she gets so brutally murdered, right? Is that because he wants to extra punish her for not doing it right, not creating the sacrifice properly. Whew, okay, let's keep going. The reason, this is also the reason why the friends keep killing each other crazily, right? Is that he wants Rika to suffer for not doing things proper. And it's also the reason why they keep, you know, killing and torturing each other in different ways each time that it happens. Is because that makes it so that she's suffering in new ways each time, right? Which makes it even harder on her, right? If it was just the same each time, then it would be a bit, whatever. I guess I can handle that. I'm feeling like this is actually the answer now, but I don't know. We'll see. But that's impressive enough if I figure it out, you know, halfway through, you know, Arc 5 instead of at the end of Arc 4, right? Right. So now still the missing link is Keiichi. What is he getting possessed with? Why? Why does he kill the uncle the one time, but then in other times Tomitake-san dies? Did Tomitake-san die in Arc 3 as well? I think he did. Yeah, he must have. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't seem to fit. I don't know. I can't make sense of that part, but I'm still going with it. This is my theory now. Okay. So the theory is Oishiro-sama's the bad guy. He possesses people to, you know, make them die. Then the Sonozakis have to do another sacrifice to appease him. Sonozakis fail to do it 1 year. He kills the whole place, but he still wants the place, so he goes back in time and he sends his disciple to make sure the sacrifice goes right. But she won't help him, but she's his only disciple that he can talk to for now. So he has to keep working with her. Because everyone else in her family line is dead. And to convince her to do it properly, he's causing great torment upon all of her friends. I just thought of another problem with this, which is, if Oyashiro-sama can possess people, why doesn't he just possess people to make it so that the sacrifice goes off properly. I don't know. Does it really count as the sacrifice going off properly if Higu Ch has to intervene after being told what to do? I don't know. But whatever. This is still my best theory. This is what I'm going with for now. Okay. We're all good here. So I think I'm gonna sign out now. Ooh. Stop recording. Epical. So epic. Goodbye.